sometimes just sharing your story is enough for somebody else to be like, whoa, that was very inspiring. I'm gonna have to work on that. So
That's what's up. Hey, come talk with OsasyTV. That's what's up. Yeah, come talk with OsasyTV.
Hello, my people. Welcome on Talk with Osasy. If you're new, you're welcome. Are you returning? Welcome back. I see you. Guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you so much, and leave your comments down below. Do not forget to click on the bell icon so you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Today with us, we have invited an incredible, inspiring young man. He is a comedian, a DJ, an enticing entertainer. He is a show host and a dancer. Today, I introduce to you Grant Jones.
the dance floor is hot and it's going, I don't need to be on the dance floor. Because once again, it's not about me. It's about the wedding party and having a good time. If I see that it's kind of slowing down a little bit and we need more people on the dance floor, that's where I'll step in. I'll start dancing behind the booth, because if they see the DJ having a good time, they're gonna be like, wow, I want to be on the dance floor. I want to be with him. And it's gonna encourage them to just be themselves.
Hi, Grant Jones. Welcome on Talk with Osasy. I'm so happy and thrilled to have you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited that you reached out. So let's get into it.
For those that are seeing you for the first time, can you please tell us more about yourself, what you do, and how you got started?
Yeah, absolutely. I call myself the ultimate entertainer. So I'm a professional host, DJ, comedian, and game show host. And one thing for me that really got me started at a young age was dancing, right? I grew up in church, right? So I was always near a microphone. My dad was a pastor for like 15 years, more spiritual now, but in terms of it, just your surrounding, your environment, so key, right? With comedy, I think comedy and dancing kind of were the catalyst in my life. Long story short, I was in a male pageant show, 3 people in each class, right? That to be in the pageant show. And, usually my act was dancing. But then during my senior year, and I won actually the pageant show, I actually started doing a little more stand-up. And so once again, with dancing, when you're dancing, I was like, oh, that was cool. But something, Kelly, like when you hear that first laugh, it's something magical about it, right? And then it's a different feeling from just getting a round of applause. It's more of a connection. So after I felt that, I was like, I need to get into comedy a little bit more. So definitely comedy started happening when I started getting more older, right? Probably around more older. When I got older, around 21. And that's where I started really getting the knack for it. And then that led to hosting.
So,
Yeah.
what motivated you to pursue this path?
Yeah, for sure. So one thing that I always think of is understanding yourself, right? Self-awareness. So just starting with stuff that came natural to you. So for me, I was always a class clown, making people laugh, talking too much in class, right? So I was like, you know what? There's some job out there. Deep down, I knew there's something that I could do for a living where I can take all these attributes, all these different skills that God or the universe has given me, right? And really use that to my full advantage. So inspiration, just understanding dancing. One big person in my life that I looked up to was Michael Jackson. When I saw that man walk, when he moonwalked on the stage, I was just like, there's something electric about that guy. And from age 8, I was moonwalking in the kitchen. I was, doing sideways moonwalks, standing on my head, anything pop locking. So shout out to the late Michael Jackson. Much respect.
Rest in peace, Mike.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Truly inspiring, really. You refer to yourself as the ultimate entertainer. What does this title mean to you, and how do you embody it in your work?
Yes, absolutely. One thing with the ultimate entertainer is just understanding different parts of you, right? If you look at Superman, right, you got Clark Kent, and then you got Superman, you got Spider-Man, you got Peter Parker. So that's kind of like me, right? And a lot of entertainers probably could attest to this. There's a certain not bad like mask, but a facade we have to put on, right? A mask kind of in a way, if you will. For me, I want to make sure that I know deep down that I'm not what I do, right? When people ask
Mhm.
who you are, they usually tell you what you do. So for me, I have to separate my identity just like a superhero, where this is the real Grant Jones, right? It's not that I'm a host, it's not that I'm a DJ, so that I'm a comedian. There's a certain frequency to Grant Jones. There's a certain energy, right? At the end of the day, I'm a divine spiritual being having a divine physical experience. So
Yeah.
with that, it's more so like, okay, I call myself the ultimate entertainer because you just got to know about yourself. And then real quick, just with the if you ever know the hip hop elements, or if you ever seen the show The Avatar, The Last Airbender, right? There's
Yes.
different. Yeah, so with the water, right? Definitely one of those things where it's moving. That would be the dancing for me, right? And it's always flowing. Energy is always present right there with the water. And then for comedy, that would be kind of with the earth, right? Because if you look at the ground, if you look at the trees, they're telling a story. If you look on the inside of a tree, it shows the rings, it shows you how long it's been around. Same thing with comedy, it keeps you grounded and it tells you a story. Air is anything that amplifies everything. If you look at a hurricane, you add water to it, and air that creates a hurricane, or excuse me, water and air, right? And then so again, tornado is air, right? And then with
Yeah.
music, that would represent air as well, because anytime you add music to dancing, it creates a whole new level. So,
Yes.
and then
It
fire,
goes deep.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And then lastly, with fire, it's just like, okay, if you ever interviewed like a rapper or something, they spit some bars for you. That was straight fire, right? It's the fire is like kind of connecting because it's bringing people together. If you think of a campfire, people used to tell stories. It's a way for you to shine your light. So again, just understanding that I'm not what I do. It's more about who you are, just being your authentic self.
Beautiful. Starting your career, were there moments where you doubted yourself, or you questioned yourself, or you felt like you were not good enough, or is this really your calling? And how were you able to get out of this loop of self doubt?
Yes, imposter syndrome. Yeah. So one of those things where, for me, it's a non-negotiable that I have. It's like a commitment I make to myself as much as I can every day. Affirmations, right? Understanding that your words are very powerful. So in the morning, usually when I wake up, I always start with gratitude. I'm grateful for another day of life. I am powerful. I'm
Beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful.
I am worthy, right? These things are, believe it or not, they're speaking out to the universe or God, and you're reprogramming in your mind. So much of us talk to ourselves really badly sometimes, right? And then you're like, man, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Or like, oh man, why did I think about that? I'm not worthy. I'm such a dumb person, right?
Yeah,
Those words go a long way. And whether you believe it or not, the more you keep on telling yourself that, the more you're going to aspire and attract things that are going to bring that and make it come to fruition. So once again, I want to make sure that I'm speaking well to myself. I want to make sure that I'm worthy enough. And at the end of the day, I think self-reflection is really key with it too. Because with self-reflection and getting time for yourself, you can see the growth. You really don't
yeah,
understand life until you look at it in hindsight, per se, right?
yeah.
Because say, wow, I had to go through that because now I'm in a position where I know how to handle that adversity. So the universe is always testing you, guys always testing you, because it's going to prepare you for something bigger in your life.
At the time where I was very depressed, I didn't understand why I had to suffer that much. So I started cursing myself and just
Hmm.
cursing everything. But now I realize like you had to go through that in order to see the light. And that
Hmm.
is beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Grant. Thank you. Your mission statement is about giving people permission to be their authentic selves. And can you explain to us what this means to you, and how do you embody it in your work, and also why it's important?
Yeah, for sure. So with being your authentic self, right? First of all, it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of us, it's when people say just be yourself, a lot of us don't know how to be ourselves, right? Whether we're hanging out with friends, whether we've been like conditioned, maybe your parents were hard on you, maybe they were authoritarian parents where they, you got to follow the rules. So understanding, you have to give yourself enough space. You have to take time, right, to get to know yourself.
Yeah,
And once you do, then you can really shine your light, right? And just understanding that, for me, especially at a party, right, there's going to be somebody that doesn't know how to do the Cupid shuffle, right? And I don't want anyone to sit down looking at everyone having a good time and they're like, man, I wish I could be out there. So I want to take it upon myself to be that leader, not a boss, but a leader. A boss will just tell you what to do and expect you to do it. A leader will actually be on the floor with you, working towards that goal and showing you how to do it right by your side. So for me, if I can create that atmosphere where it's like, whoa, that was fun, right? Wow, we're
yeah,
having a good time. And after the Cupid shuffle, you can stay on the dance floor. And then even if you look at it from a deeper level, subconsciously, even maybe, I would want you to feel like, whoa, that was amazing. I haven't danced like that in a long time. Like I want to be more of myself. I'm planting seeds in people's mind. That's the goal, right? To say, whoa, that guy was so free. He was dancing behind the booth. People were laughing. He didn't care. Like he was just having a fun time. He was in a moment, right? So for me, that's where I really want the importance to understand There's a certain flow. God or the universe, if you're spiritual, has given you these gifts to use, and I really want to make sure that you guys are showing the world your true self. I have this philosophy: the only way you can fail at life is when you're not your authentic self. So, life is too short just to copy someone else. You have unique features. There's something that you can do that somebody else can't do, or they can do it, but they can't do it the way you do it, right? So, the importance of self love and understanding self awareness of who you are as a person, and understanding that you have these gifts, and you don't want to go to your grave knowing that these gifts have never been opened. So, the biggest thing for me is, once again, being my authentic self and understanding that we're constantly changing. I'm never going to fully be healed, right, from all my traumas. But each day I can work on something new, right? And hopefully I can be a better version of myself each and every day. So being consistent and being okay with being imperfect, right? It's a weird paradox. Perfectly imperfect. Just striving to be yourself. There's no right or wrong way to do life. Just do you at the end of the day. So
Beautiful, perfectly imperfect. For those that are currently or going through depression, what will be your advice for them?
yeah. So once again, I can only speak on my experience into a lot of comedians. It's unfortunate. I won't say all, but a lot of them go through depression, right? And sometimes we're looking for that validation through the laugh. So once again, I want to make sure that people are on this call, anyone that's watching this, make sure that you give your own self validation, right? Know that you are worthy. Sometimes it takes a while to see that worth, but once again, take time to look at your life through the span. Just look at the positives, right? You can look at the weaknesses. Sometimes there's something that went bad, but then look at the positive. There's always a lesson that can be learned through these experiences. You just have to be willing to do it, right? You have to be willing to
Yeah,
do the work and see it. But once again, that goes back to doing stuff that you're naturally good at, doing stuff that you love to do. And once again, depression can be used as a tool sometimes, at least in my opinion. If you're not happy with something, just know that you have the power to change that. If you're not happy at your work, you're working a 9 to 5, and you're a dancer and you're an actor, and you want to do that more, like, definitely you don't have to quit your job. I'm not condoning anyone to do that, but you can definitely take some night classes, right? You can start small and work your way up big. That's actually what I started doing. I used to be a store manager at a grocery store, but then I started doing comedy on the side. And then eventually, I started getting good, started hosting a little bit, and now I had to go from full time to part time, and now I'm doing more stuff that I like to do. So once again, my advice would be just be yourself. If you don't know how to be yourself, get to know yourself, right? Date yourself, love yourself. Start with the small things, with affirmations, telling yourself that you're worthy, that you're enough, and then make a commitment to yourself, whether it's once a day, once a week, that saying you are powerful, you are enough, and you are great, and you're worthy. Sometimes just sharing your story is enough for somebody else to be like, whoa, that was very inspiring. I'm gonna have to work on
you're
that.
really
So
amazing and inspiring. Grant Jones, you were very big in finding your true self, your true calling and purpose. What is your take on this, and what is your advice for people who are currently in search of their true calling and purpose?
yeah, and just to be transparent, I think for me, I'm always going to be searching for that purpose. But with that being said, whether you're spiritual or whether you're religious, God, the universe, I think once again, the more you are in alignment with yourself and understanding who you are, using those gifts that you've been given with, that picture gets a little less fuzzy, right? You get a little bit more
Yeah,
clarity. It starts making sense. The other day, I was on Instagram and I was just looking at all the stuff I've been through, right? Good and bad. I posted it. And I'm like, whoa, God, the universe is showing me a little bit more about what I'm supposed to be doing. He's giving me clarity of that vision, of that plan, that I can't even see sometimes. Because so many times we try to do things our way, right? But then once we start using the gifts and we be more natural and just being our true self, it's like, whoa, like, now that makes sense why I had to go through that. Now that makes sense why I met that person. Now that makes sense why I got fired from that job, right? So with that being said, just understanding that it's going to take time to find your calling. But piece by piece, on this journey we call life, it gets a little bit clearer. It gets a little more, straightforward with your eyes. That vision, that 2020 vision. I think 2020 was a blessing and a curse at the same time. Curse because it shut down the world for a second, but it gave us that 2020 vision to kind of get to know ourselves and kind of
yeah,
at that time where you need that rest, have that time to get to know yourself a little bit. So
yeah,
once
yeah.
again, there's bliss within that pain, right? And you just got to keep on working and chipping away at it.
Guys, continue being your authentic self. Get to know yourself more better. Get to learn about yourself, the things that makes you happy in order to find that inner bliss. Grant, what is your take on mental health and what would be your advice to someone who is currently struggling to embody their authentic self, their true
Yeah.
self?
So once again, understanding yourself. I think in college, I had a broadcast journalism major. I knew I loved to talk, right? But my minor was psychology. And so I love sociology, but with psychology, well, actually with sociology, I wanted to really understand, like, the way people work, right, in their minds, right. But then I was like, wait, I can't really understand other people until I understand myself. So that's where it got me to the psychology with like, so I wanted to understand how my own mind works. It definitely took me a while to get into mental health. One thing is, I know sometimes in the Black community, it's frowned upon or something like that, getting help, mental health. But if you really think about it, if you ever, had like a knee surgery or something, or you had a broken arm or something, you have to go through physical therapy, right? So you wouldn't just skip those process, you wouldn't skip those steps. So same thing, you would have to go through mental therapy, like go get help with your mental health. And just understanding. I've been in therapy for probably about almost a year now, almost started like last November. So but it was unfortunate. I had a breakdown, right? I was in a bad relationship, and I really wasn't understanding who I was, and it just got to the point where like, how did I get in this situation, right? And it's like, okay, I need help. I need professional help. I can't do this alone. And I feel like that's such a big message, right? You don't have to go through this alone. There's people out there dedicated to wanting to see you do live your best life, to really understand how you can be your greatest version and not have to do it by yourself, right? Obviously you have to be the one to put in that work, but
Work, yeah.
understanding there are people that can guide you and help you, give you those tools to help you open that real version of you. So with mental health, I look at it as it's going to be hard work because there's going to be aspects that you haven't even seen, and I believe they call it blindside, where they kind of show you what you're missing and what other people see that you might not be able to see. And now you have to commit to yourself. It's definitely a commitment, day in and day out, because some days are going to be harder than another. And then I think my therapist, the best way she told me is, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to give you the tools so you can be your authentic self, and also understand that, it's like a web full of knots, right? I think so many of us try to unknot so many knots in our lives at once. She's like, you got to look at it from baby steps and stages. You have to do one knot at a time. And he's like, okay, that knot's done. Now let's go to this one. This knot's done. Rather than trying to go right here, kind of go here, you're not going to get anywhere, right? So I think with social media, there's a certain conditioning, and Instagram, there's some type of facade with that as well too, where everyone seems like they have the perfect life, right? Everyone's going on vacation and everything, but understanding that at the end of the day, everybody's going through something. Everybody has some issue they're dealing with or something that they're going through. And just be mindful that everyone's not living that lavish life. No matter how long you see it on Instagram, no matter, somebody still has to be human. Somebody still has to go through work. And there's stuff that we can all work on and improve on in our life. So,
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. What challenges have you faced in your career as an entertainer, and how has this contributed to your self growth and
yeah,
self realization?
yes, absolutely. So for me, I think a lot. Like I'm a mind person. Like if I move my head, there's a word that says mindset, right? So I'm always. It's funny how it's like alignment, right now, right in the mindset, always in my mind. But for me, it's not even if like I'm thinking, oh, like am I good enough, right? It's just like I want to be my best version of myself, so I'm always pushing myself, right? And some things that I know that I am need to improve on is just working on my self love, right? So much that we talk about, it's just like I feel like so many people are so hard on themselves, right? And then I believe Jim Carrey was talking about depression, right? He literally says depression literally has the word like D and then press, right? Or deep rest, right? So your body's telling you like, hey, whatever you're doing to me right now, it's not working and we need to rest, right?
How do you see the intersection of entertainment and therapy evolving in the future?
Yes, great question. Honestly, once again, the therapy, right? I'm only gonna get better, right? And it's gonna definitely take time, gotta put in that work, but the more I work on these problems, the more I unknot these knots, right? It allows me to showcase what I've been through. especially through comedy, right? Like there's just so many people. I could make a joke about, being broke or giving an overdraft fee, right? So many people have been in that position earlier on in their life, sometimes later. So the more I work on myself and the more I
Mhm,
share myself to the world, the more I
mhm,
can
mhm.
resonate and spark that catalyst. I can spark that interest, ignite that fire within somebody else. I mean, wow. Like I have people come up to me after the show, like, dude, that one joke about the banking and overdrafts, that got to me, man. That's so real, right? And I think the best comedians are very observational and they really speak from the heart. And that's where I want to see my company go, Grant Jones Entertainment, being the ultimate entertainer. When you listen to me DJing, I want you to feel a vibe. I want you to get out your seat. I want you to dance. When you hear my story, I want you to laugh at my pain, but understand that you can enjoy and learn something from my experiences as well too. So that's where I hope to
Um,
evolve.
beautiful, beautiful. Are there any personal, should I say, are there any specific goals you are excited in pursuing?
Yes. So once again, grew up in church. There's a scripture that says, "Without vision, the people would perish." Right. So to the left of me, I have a vision board, and it literally helps me see where I'm going in life. So there's certain goals, right? I believe there was certain mark where I was like, I want to make this amount of money within this month, right? And once again, doing those affirmations definitely help you manifest those things as well too. So just understanding that, once you have a vision board or something that a goal that you can reach, definitely will help you. And you got to be committed to that goal, right? So for me, the next 5 years, I want to be making a certain amount of money. I want to be able to travel the world. And it's funny, I'm starting to travel more with my job, speaking my truth, helping other companies out as well too. Definitely looking to expand my company, throughout the United States, and hopefully start going to different countries as well too. And once again, like there's so much I can do in the United States, but I want to inspire people around the world, not just in the United States. I want to make sure that we can work together and really come together as a nation, because end of the day, there's one race, right? The human race. And, we, there's more similarities than there are difference, right? I like to say once again that we're paradox. We're equally different, right? So you got to vibrate to the vibration that you were created to vibrate on. And then I got to do the same. So once we can share our gifts with each other and understand that we're all connected, I think we'll all be in a better place moving forward.
Hi guys, welcome back. Hey Grant, welcome back. So, for the agree to disagree question, follow your passion and you will be successful. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes. It's one of those things too where I have a success thing right here. And literally on the success poster, it says success is measured against the achieving your own goals and ambitions. Always do your best in everything you do, and you will achieve success. So once again, you can't really measure yourself against somebody else, right? It's as long as you're doing the best that you can do at that time and point, whether if you're just doing, DJing and I can't even mix, right? As long as I'm doing the best I can, I'm learning from that. You're succeeding because you have to have failure, or at least I like to chase that word from failure to learn. You have to learn, right? In order to be successful. So you can't have
Yeah.
one without the other. So yes.
What is success for you?
Ooh, got it. I love that. So success for me is understanding that I have something in my mind, right? I'm a co-creator, and manifesting it, right? So, and sometimes your dreams don't manifest the way you want to, right? You might have started off as a singer but now you're an actor, right? Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, love Will Smith. But he started as a rapper. Now he's one of the biggest movie stars of all time, right? Mr. Blockbuster, Mr. July, they call him. So once again, success for me is you're never gonna get enough success. I don't think I don't think like you can touch it, right? You can't touch it. So you're always gonna want more. So my thing is, if I can take an idea in my head, cultivate that, manifest it, and make it come out in the physical world, that's success to me, right? If I can see that idea come to life, and if I'm doing the best I can, if I can see that I'm just trying to do, I don't even like to use the word try, I am doing what I set out to do, and understanding that there's never an end game, there's never a destination. It's more about the journey of the process. That's where it's really fun, because once you attain that goal, you're gonna be like, it feels good for a little bit, but then you're like, okay, what's next now? So you can't
more.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think money should be the goal. I don't think the fame shouldn't be the goal. I feel like it's actually being present in that moment, doing what you love to do. That's being successful in my book.
Beautiful. Do you have any last words of advice for the people watching?
Yeah. One thing I would say to anyone watching right now is just take your time. Honestly, there's no rush. I think so much of us, like once again with social media, there's so much pressure to have instant gratification. I got to do it now. All these things take time, right? I've been a host for almost 10 years now, and now I'm just starting to live in a place where I'm in my own mind in abundance, right? Where I can create so many different opportunities because I've had that experience, right? But you're not going to be, and if you are successful like overnight, it probably won't last. You might be a one-hit wonder, right? You might be on TikTok or something and you get 1 million views or 2 million views, right? But it's very hard to replicate that and repeat that, right? So through those practices, once again, with self-love, understanding yourself, affirmations, it takes a whole lot to become your greatest version. And then you're going to be once you get to that level, once you think that you're there, there's going to be another mountain to climb too. So just keep that in mind. Don't focus on the destination so much. Focus on the process. Focus on the growth. Enjoy it. Be mindful in it. Be present in it. And really enjoy who you've been created to be, and really celebrate. I think celebration of the small wins is really key in my book. So
where can people find you?
Yes. You guys can find me on social media. I am on Instagram. It's GJ Entertainer. And then also on YouTube, GJ Entertainer, where you can see some comedy if you want to, or stuff that I'm up to. And also you can go to my website at grantjonesentertainment.com. You can check out what I do with corporate worlds. We've got some game show examples that are really funny. I aspire to be the next Wayne Brady, right? But also I don't want to be Wayne Brady, right? But I aspire to have that impact, that energy, right? Understanding, tapping into that frequency, because I want to be myself as well too. But the way he just moves and everything like that, the way he laughs, the way he's fully in the moment, and he can have a platform. Yeah, definitely. So you can find me on social media. Once again, grantjonesentertainment.com. And if you want to book me, let me know. I fly out. I go to Florida. I go everywhere. We'll make something happen for you. So
beautiful. Guys, we have come to the end of today's segment. Please go check him out on gjentertainment.com.
Yes.
Or DJ Entertainment on Instagram. Grant, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation, and thank you so much for the great insights on today's segment.
Thank you for letting me be on your show. I love your vibe. You got a nice glow, so always nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Till next time. See you. Bye.
Professionally, the possibilities is sucking the life out of you.
They don't like what you're doing. These people are jealous.
Why sparking my
Everyone has a mental health issue or they are healing.
And God forbid something happens tomorrow. I don't do that.
It's really important to be self-aware of what, so that's how I prove of be like what phase of life you are in. We need to be really understanding of our own situation.
Yes, we are the poorest in this country. So me, everybody sick, mental health, everybody needs a therapy, and even the therapy needs a therapist.
You have to be happy with what you have.
Don't even think like it. Just go for yourself. Go for your best.